Hi, hello guys. How are you all? Hi, நான் தான் உங்கள் schizophrenian. ஸோ இன்றைக்கி நம்ம எதை பற்றி பார்க்க போகிறோம் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, நம்ம கமல்ஹாசனோட ரிமார்க் வந்து கர்நாடகாவில் கான்ட்ரவர்சி ஆனதை பார்த்தோம். நியூஸ் சேனல் எப்படி கவர் பண்ணிச்சுன்னு பார்த்தோம். அதுக்கப்புறமேட்டு அது கர்நாடகா ஹைகோர்ட் என்ன மாதிரி பேசுங்கிறதையும் பார்த்தோம். அது வந்து தமிழில் மட்டும்தான் ஸ்ட்ராங்காக ரியாக்ட் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க. பிகாஸ் அது அதர் நியூஸ் சேனல்ஸில் பெருசாக கவர் பண்ணல, பிக் பண்ணலை. பட் ஆனால் whatever remarks that Karnataka High Court said, that was very very serious. அது கொஞ்சம் டிஸ்டர்பிங்காக ஜுடிஷியல் இப்படி ஒரு வியூ எடுக்குதா அப்படிங்கிறது எனக்கு ஷாக்கிங்காக இருந்துச்சு. பிகாஸ் ஆஸ் அ கோர்ட், ஆஸ் அ லேண்ட் ஆஃப் லா, கான்ஸ்டியூஷன் பை பண்ணுறபடி அவங்க வந்து ஃப்ரீடம் ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்பிரஷன் அண்டு ரைட் டு டூ பிஸ்னஸ். சென்சார் சர்டிஃபிகேட் வாங்கின ஒரு படத்தை ஸ்டேட், எந்த ஸ்டேட்டாக இருந்தாலும் எல்லா இடத்துல இருந்தாலும் இந்தியாவில் இட்ஸ் ரெடி, இட்ஸ் ஃபிட் டு ஸ்க்ரீன்னா அதுக்கு ஸ்டேட் அண்ட் இஷ்யூ, எந்த ஸ்டேட் லா அண்ட் ஆர்டரோ ஸ்டேட்டில் எந்த இஷ்யூனாலும் அது ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்ட்டோட பொறுப்பில் தான் அந்த படத்தை ரிலீஸ் பண்ணணும். தட்ஸ் கிவன் வேர்டிக்ட். அதனால் ஒரு படம் பேனே பண்ணாமல், ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்ட்டும் பேன் பண்ணாமல், இல்லை எதிர்ப்பு தெரிவிக்காமல், கான்ட்ரவர்சியே இல்லாமல், சம்மந்தமே இல்லாமல் ஒரு கோர்ட்டு வந்து ஃபோர்ஸ் பண்ணி ஈகோ தடுக்குதா, இது பண்ணுதா, அதை பண்ணுதா, நீங்கள் மன்னிப்பு கேளுங்கன்னு சொன்னதெல்லாம் இட்ஸ் டோட்டலி அன்எக்செப்டபிள் அட் தட் டைம். இப்போது சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட்டுக்கு போய் சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட் ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ராங்கான வேர்ட்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. அதை என்னங்கிறது தான் நம்ம எல்லோரும் சேர்ந்து ஒன்றா பார்க்க போகிறோம். நியூஸ் ரியாக்ட்ஸ் எட் அனதர் எபிசோட். ஹியர் வி கோ. இல்லை இவங்களுக்கு கிட்ட கேட்டால் கரெக்டாக புரியுமான்னு எனக்கு தெரியல. கடைசியாக கிட்ட வரும். என்னவா பதில் சொல்லியிருக்குங்கிறத மொத்த கான்டெக்ஸ்ட்டும் எது கரெக்டுங்கிறத நம்ம கிட்ட பேசிப்போம். வாங்க இப்போ அடுத்த நியூஸ் சேனல் போவோம். ஹியர் வி கோ. CNN News 18 போமா.
And we are coming out of that. We're getting some more updates, and this is to do with actor Kamal Haasan, as the Supreme Court has backed the release of Kamal Haasan's film Thug Life in the state of Karnataka. The Supreme Court, remember, was hearing a plea against the release of the Kamal Haasan film, and the court has observed that it cannot be at the bane or fear of burning down the cinemas that the films will not be released. The court has also said that people may come and may not watch the film, but that's a different matter. We are not passing an order that in fact are refraining these people from coming and watching the film, or not allowing the exhibit of the film altogether, but the film must be released. That is what is the word that's coming out of the apex court. So a relief for Kamal Haasan and the makers of Thug Life, as the film has in fact gotten a go ahead to be released in the state of Karnataka. Ananya has more details. Yes, Ananya.
Well, definitely the Supreme Court is hearing in fact a petition challenging the extrajudicial ban on Kamal Haasan's film Thug Life. And, some strong statements that have come in from the top poster of the country, wherein the Supreme Court bench, a vacation bench of the Supreme Court comprising Justice Manmohan, Justice Ojjwal Bhuyan, have made certain strong statements, in fact, going on as far as to say that it cannot be at the bane of fear of burning down with the cinemas, that the films will not be released. People may come and may not watch the film, but that's a different matter. We are not passing an order at this particular point of time. However, a response has been asked from, in fact, the authorities and the respondents. In fact, Justice Bhuyan also went on to say that we cannot allow mob and vigilantes to take over the streets, is what, in fact, the Supreme Court has asked. It's asked the Tamil Nadu government to file its response. And we will have to wait and watch
Tamil Nadu government, pan out on the Karnataka government.
Ask the Tamil Nadu government to file its response. And we will have to wait and watch as to how things pan out on Thursday, when the matter would be heard next. So very categorically, at this juncture, this is a strong statement coming in as far as the Supreme Court is concerned. Very clearly, the bench going on to say that, it cannot be allowed for the mobs and vigilantes to actually take over the streets. Not only that, it has also gone on to say that, people may or may not watch the film, but it cannot be that the films are not released itself.
Right, but can this be considered as a win for Kamal Haasan and the makers of Thug Life, Ananya, considering there has been so much of time that has passed as the film's release date, that the film has already been showcased in various other states in the country, and now finally a go-ahead from the Supreme Court. Certainly the film has suffered as far as not being able to be released or getting an exhibit in the state of Karnataka.
Well, definitely, this is something that is very categorical. It is, in fact, something that the Supreme Court has given out some kind of relief, though, an order has not been passed, but we'll have to wait for Thursday when the Supreme Court has actually sought for a response, and then we'll get to know what the state of the film is. However, with the observations that are coming in from the Supreme Court, it completely goes on to say and show that how, in fact, this might go in the favor of in fact, the makers of this movie and also Mr. Kamal Haasan, very categorically, the Supreme Court making one point very, very clear that, there cannot be a fear mongering or, some kind of a threat that could, prevent the release of particular film. And that's exactly why mobs cannot be, cannot come over the streets and take over, in fact, the streets in order to oppose the release of a particular film. If people do not want to watch it, it's their choice, but the release of the film cannot be stopped as far as the rule of law demands.
True.
Right. Also, Ananya, there was a lot of back and forth that had happened, and this is completely different from the kind of rap that Kamal Haasan and his counsel had received on maintaining that stance of no apology that came in from the Karnataka High Court. From then to now, the word and the observation that's coming in from the Apex Court, there's a marked difference.
Well, definitely, in fact, a very, very crucial observation coming in from the Supreme Court at this particular point of time. The hearing is still underway. And Justice Manmohan clearly going on to say that there is something wrong in the system. One person makes a statement, it is believed to be as if it's the gospel too. So basically, there are also questions that are being asked by Justice Manmohan. He goes on to say that, does the law depend on the statement of one person? He asked Mr. Sanjay Jain that, whether the rule of law demands that any person with a CBFC certificate, the film must be released. State has to ensure that the rule of law prevails in the state. We will hear the matter on Thursday. Is what, in fact, the bench has, clarified. A response has been sought from the CBFC and various other stakeholders into this particular matter. We'll have to wait and watch for Thursday, and if any kind of order is passed today, since the hearing is still going on in the particular matter. So we'll have to wait and watch as to what happens next. However, the Supreme Court has already issued a notice, and it's likely that the matter is heard on Thursday. However, let the hearing, we'll have to wait for the hearing today to get over to understand as to what the final order of the Supreme Court, at least for today, is concerned is.
Okay, so Ananya, you are essentially saying that this will get pushed to Thursday, even if there is a favourable order that's coming in from the Supreme Court for Kamal Haasan and his film Thug Life. That film might just not eventually release immediately. We'd have to wait till Thursday. Is that right?
Probably.
Well, it's plausible that we'll have to wait till Thursday because the response has already been sought. And the important statement, Griya, that comes in at this particular point of time from Justice Bhuyan is that, it's not the business of the court to seek an apology from anybody just because he's expressed a view. Justice Manmohan also goes on to say that this is concerning the rule of law and the fundamental.
கட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. அவ்வளோ முக்கியமான விஷயத்தை கட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க டக்குன்னு. Inspired by Supreme Court judge for not biased for anyone but law. True. So finally, Kamal has the last laugh. The movie was flop, but it's personal victory for Kamal Haasan. Last laugh. While I don't agree with the Kamal Haasan treatment, the High Court in India has acted like a government office as opposed to High Court. Sad, it's good that Supreme Court has rectified it. Someone show the face of High Court Judge Nova. Karnataka has many hooligans, proud state. Final victory to Kamal Haasan versus Karnataka. அடப்பாவிகளா. அடுத்தது, hooligans is the right usage here. Kudos to the Supreme Court. People can love their language but not become terrorists for it. They need to learn to respect other languages. Any Karnatakas will support High Court judge as one of the hooligans judgment. அடுத்தது, okay, but Mushirabad, Kashmir Pandits, Nupur Sharma, Azamga, Sharmishta, etc. In all these cases, goons can do whatever they want. Question mark. Here comes whataboutery. And here comes someone who cannot take real facts and brand them as whataboutery. Who, no, proud Karnataka is proud taka. Kamal Haasan Supreme Court proved its supreme. Justice is alive. Even government supported hooligans. Government didn't take action on hooligans. If action was taken, Thug Life would have released on June 5 itself. Correct. June 5 release ஆகிடுது. June 6 June 5. Correct. Where is that idiot Zaka who was covering this news when High Court judgment was given? If he was a good journalist, he should cover Supreme Court judgment and take his words back. இல்லை ஈகராக வெயிட் பண்ணுறீங்க போலையே. Great news from Supreme Court. I don't know why whenever this issue with Karnataka, it's always mob involved. Either Kaveri issue or any simple judgment from an actor. They should learn Constitution. They should know that they are part of India. How to react, basic communication disagreement, simple way. Something very wrong with Karnataka people and the way they react. I would say to Karnataka's welcome to the civilization. Fuck, he was true, man. Mahadev and Raju, ஆன் பாயிண்ட்டாக நெத்திட்டாக கொடுத்துட்டாப்புல. வெல்கம் டு சிவிலைசேஷன். For namesake, this movie will be released and within 1 week it will go out of theaters without any spectators. என்ன எல்லாத்தையும் ஏதாவது போட்டுங்கிறாப்புல. Supreme Court inconsistency is deeply troubling. In Nupur Sharma case, Justice Surya Kam blamed her for the unrest despite the serious threat she received for expressing her views based on religion texts. Instead of protecting her rights, the court appeared to hold her responsible for the fallout. That doesn't come under hate speech. Hate speech-க்கு இதுக்குமே வித்தியாசம் தெரியல உங்களுக்கு. In contrast, this court stands on Kamal Haasan, who claimed Kannada was born out of Tamil, a historically and linguistically unfounded statement that hurt Karnataka's sentiment. Rather than holding him accountable, the court prioritized the film's release and labeled Karnataka protesters hooliganism. How is this fair? Kamal Haasan, a public figure, used a false claim as a marketing stunt, insulting Karnataka's language and culture. If Nupur Sharma were held responsible for what was happening in the country, why was Kamal Haasan not held responsible for causing a social unrest and hurting a community sentiments? Is there one stand for some and another for others? It's called subjective, guys. Test case மாதிரி வேரி ஆகும். ஒரே ரூல் ஆஃப் லா தான், ஒரே கிரைம் தான், பட் ஸ்டில் கேஸ் டு கேஸ் சப்ஜெக்ட் டு சப்ஜெக்ட் வேரி ஆகும் ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட்ஸ். அதுவே இன்னும் உங்களுக்கு புரிஞ்சிக்கல, ரைட்டு? Supreme Court must protect the Constitution and deliver equal justice. Prioritizing celebrity privilege over cultural respect sends a dangerous message. That offensive statements are tolerated while protests are criminalized. This verdict risks setting a dangerous precedent that anyone can make provocative, false and offensive statement about language, culture and religion and be shielded under the excuse of article of personal freedom. ஏய், அதுக்கு பேர் ஹேட் ஸ்பீச்டா. ஹேட் ஸ்பீச் பாருங்கடா. while those who protest, நான் ஏ கிட்ட கேட்குறேன்டா, கமல்ஹாசன் பண்ணது ஹேட் ஸ்பீச் ஏ கிட்ட கேட்டு சொல்கிறேன் உங்களுக்கு இருடா. while those who protest such insults are dismissed as hooligans. கொளுத்திருமே எரிச்சதுங்கிறது பேர் ஹூலிகனிசம் தான்டா. This is not justice India expects or deserves. The people, government and High Court of Karnataka should explore all legal avenues to ensure justice is served impartially. Karnataka citizens have the right to consider banning Kamal Haasan's film and demand accountability. This is Tamil film industry banned singer Chinmay for speaking out against sexualism by powerful men. While a courageous woman was banned for raising her voice, figures like Kamal Haasan are seemingly encouraged to sow division by exploiting language politics. ஐயோ, என்னன்னு சொல்றது? Hooligans can't decide what gets screened. Looks like this statement is addressed to the High Court judge. High Court judge was basically proxy of mob, tight slap. Please do census which state has more hooligans. When Kamal Haasan case came up for hearing in Supreme Court, Kamal will ask the Supreme Court to grant tax exemption to the Kamal's film for the next 10 years. As the Karnataka government has caused losses for banning the film of production from Karnataka, Kamal win now. People of Karnataka have already given Kamal's verdict. Uneducated people say it hurts sentiments. Educated people would call for boycott. It is opinion. If you see him as an actor, tell him he's not linguistic to call it. Put facts to counter him. Just because we don't have any facts, these people go violent and illegally banned. Courts uphold constitution, cannot uphold sentiments. Opinions can be contrary to one on the convincing for others. Face opinions with facts and dialogue. If you see him as a politician, call it a political statement and leave. For centuries, the so-called Vedic practitioners called Sanskrit is the mother of all Indian languages. Even current Home Minister said it just weeks ago. No one raised a voice. Why? These people are cowards, hypocrites. காட்சி வரைக்கும் அவங்களுக்கு புரியாது. ஒன் கோர்ட் இஸ் கிரிட்டிசைசிங் த கோர்ட் ஆஃப் அதர் கண்ட்ரி. டேய், அதுக்கு பேர் என்னடா இவங்க எதுவுமே புரியாமல் பேசிக்காக எதுக்குடா இருக்காங்க? ஹைகோர்ட்டோட ரூல் மாறும்டா. சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட்டுக்கு போச்சுன்னா தப்பாக நீதி கொடுத்துருந்தா திருத்தம் மட்டும் தான் சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட் ஒன்று இருக்குது. அதுதானே நீ போகிற மேல் முறையீடுன்னு போகிற. ஐயோ, சேலஞ்சிங் தான் என்னன்னு தெரியாது போல உங்களுக்கு. ஃபேர் ஜட்மெண்ட், காமன் சென்ஸ் ப்ரிவாலிட்டி, ஜஸ்டிஸ் சர்வ் tells you about the High Court of Karnataka, such a superior argument from the judge of the High Court questioning the ego of the petitioner. ரைட்டு, நம்ம அடுத்தது போவோம் வாங்க. எப்படி எதுவுமே யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்க போதில்ல, விட மாட்டாங்க. ஓகே காய்ஸ், இப்போ இந்த கான்ட்ரவர்சி ஆஃப் கமல்ஹாசன்ஸ் ரிமார்க் அது நீங்கள் பார்த்துருப்பீங்க. ஹைகோர்ட்டில் என்னவா பேனட் ஆச்சுன்னு பார்ப்பீங்க. இப்போ சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட்டில் எப்படி பேனட் ஆச்சுன்னு நியூஸ் டேக் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். தட்ஸ் இட் ஃப்ரம் அகேன் கைஸ். ஹோப் இது ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு காம்ப்ரிஹென்சிவ் வியூ கொடுத்துட்டேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். இட்ஸ் an ongoing இஷ்யூ. நாளைக்கு தான் தெரிய வரும் சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட் என்ன சொல்ல வருதுன்னு. we will follow it through. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like the video இஃப் யூ லைக் த கண்டென்ட் என்ஜாயாக இருந்துச்சு, பார்க்க நல்லா இருந்துச்சுன்னா லைக் பண்ணுங்கள். அண்ட் இஃப் யூ வாண்ட் டு கிவ் சம் சஜஷன்ஸ், உங்கள் ஒப்பீனியன்ஸ் எதாவது இருக்குது, கிரிட்டிசிசம் இருக்குது, சஜஷன்ஸ் இருக்குது, எதாக இருந்தாலும் சரி, மேக் யூஸ் ஆஃப் கமெண்ட் செக்ஷன், லெட் மீ நோ. If you want to support me, hit that subscribe button. That's the only way you can support any upcoming YouTubers like me. கூட சீக்கிரம் நல்ல வீடியோ சந்திக்கிறேன். Bye bye. See you all. Peace out.